What's going on, you guys? It's Xander. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the full card of UFC 296. I understand that I already made a predictions video for the main event. I'm only going to talk about that one briefly, but I'm going to talk about the main card because this main card is one of the best main cards of the entire year. What a pay-per-view this is. This is fantastic fights all around for the main card, even in the prelims as well. You got Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett headlining the prelims, which is that's a pretty solid fight as well. But let's go ahead and get into just the main card only, and I'm going to give you some predictions for some of these fights. Well, actually all the fights on the main card. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Ian Machado Garry versus Vicente Luque. Ian Garry's been getting into a lot, and like I said, a lot of crazy, antics, outside of the cage with his wife and stuff like that, and him getting into it with Sean Strickland. And now he's one of the most hated fighters in the UFC. I still believe that Ian Garry is going to get the job done, even with all the antics aside. I do believe that he will win his fight against Vicente Luque. I think Vicente Luque, although be it a very good fighter, and I can see Vicente Luque get the job done, I don't think he has. I think Ian Garry's, I almost call him Machado. Ian Garry's striking is just on a whole nother level, in my honest opinion. I think that he's going to be able to, I think he's going to win by unanimous decision. I can definitely see a finish, but I'm going to say unanimous decision victory. I think he's going to win all 3 rounds. Maybe there's an opportunity where Vicente Luque has a chance, to probably win one of the rounds, but I still think that he's going to win by unanimous decision. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it's a split decision. Maybe Vicente Luque has an opportunity to make this fight a pretty close fight, because Vicente Luque is the best fighter that Ian Garry's ever fought. His last fight against Neil Magny is not that great of a fighter, let's just be honest. And obviously he was able to chop them legs and stuff like that, and he could do the same, and Ian Garry could do the same thing to Vicente Luque, but Vicente Luque's striking is a whole lot better than Neil Magny's, I'll tell you that. But I think that Ian Garry, I think that, him being 6'3" versus 5'11", he's going to use his reach, he's going to use his height to, to be able to hit him at range and stuff like that. And I think it's just going to be too much for Vicente Luque. I'm going to have him win by unanimous decision. I'm going to say 30-27 or 29-28. I'm going to say 29-28 Ian Garry for the victory to start off the main card. And I think a lot of people are going to boo Ian Garry, especially at the press conference. I think that, I saw Lucas Tracy's video, shout out to Lucas Tracy, by the way, where he talked about how he should kind of be a heel. And I kind of agree. I do believe that he needs to kind of go into this heel gimmick, that he relish in the fact that he is hated by just about everybody, not just on the UFC roster, but a bunch of the fans. Let's just be honest. A lot of people have turned their back on Ian Garry, including myself. I'm not a big Ian Garry guy either, especially after all the stuff and all the antics that he had against Vicente Luque with all of his, Vicente Luque with his religious beliefs, and him with his, I believe it was a baptism post that he showed, and Ian Garry made a really insensitive remark, and ever since then I kind of soured on Ian Garry. I'm not a big fan of Ian Garry. I kind of hope that Ian Garry loses in a way. I hope he actually does get his ass knocked out, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ian Garry's going to win and start off the main card like that. Let's go and get into the next fight, Paddy Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson. Another big-time fight by 2 big names. This fight, even though I am picking Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson, isn't it kind of sad for Paddy Pimblett that Tony Ferguson has a chance? There's no way, in my opinion, that Tony Ferguson should win this fight. Tony Ferguson is not the same fighter that he used to be, sadly. He is not the Tony Ferguson of old. This is not 12-fight win streak Ferguson. We will never see that fighter ever again. If you watch Tony Ferguson's last fight, even though he dropped Bobby Green, he looked horrible in that fight. He looked slow. He looked even gassed in the 3rd round. He did not look, bro, he got taken down and submitted by Bobby Green. There's no way that you believe that Tony Ferguson is going to be able to go out there and beat Paddy Pimblett unless Paddy Pimblett is just that bad of a fighter. Which, even though Paddy Pimblett is not a great fighter, I still think he's better than Tony Ferguson right now. And that's what I honestly believe. I think that the grappling of Paddy Pimblett is far superior to Bobby Green. So I do believe that I think that Paddy Pimblett just needs to use his grappling. and just take Tony Ferguson down. I really do believe so, and I think he's going to be able to do that, and I think he's going to get a finish. I think he's going to submit him in the first round. I think it's going to be an early fight, and I think Paddy Pimblett is going to be able to finish this fight in the first round and just take him down and probably submit him by a rear naked choke. I don't think that Tony Ferguson has it in him anymore, and it's kind of sad to say this because Tony Ferguson is beloved by all the fans. I'm a Tony Ferguson guy, man, and I rooted for him to win the championship against Justin Gaethje, but man, it's just ever since he just not looked the same, man. He's not looked the same. He only had a few good moments in some of the fights. You know, him against Michael Chandler, he had a great first round where he won the first round. Then you know what happened after that. Then you had his moment when he dropped Bobby Green as well. But still, man, it's just not the same anymore. And I think that Tony Ferguson is going to lose this fight. And I think he's going to lose this fight by submission to Paddy Pimblett. Even though Paddy Pimblett, not a fantastic fighter by any stretch of the means, it's just the fact that I don't even think that he could beat Jared Gordon. I don't think that Tony Ferguson could beat Jared Gordon right now. Let's just be honest. That would be a super competitive fight. But yeah, I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett. I think he's going to win by a first round rear naked choke. The next fight is Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Now you guys understand why I'm naming this. The betting favorites are going to win. Every betting favorite to me is going to win on the main card. I think everybody who is a favorite on the main card is going to win, in my honest opinion. And this is no different for this fight. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Stephen Thompson, Wonderboy. I give Wonderboy a chance. I do. Here's the deal. Wonderboy is not getting any younger. And listen, even though his last fight, he looked fantastic against Kevin Holland. That is Kevin Holland. This is a killer. This is a man who missed his sister's wedding to train. This guy is taking this fight 100% seriously. There's a reason why he's 17-0 and going to be a possible contender in 2024 for the welterweight championship. He is the real deal. And Wonderboy, I think, in my opinion, Shavkat needs to utilize his grappling just like how Paddy Pimblett should utilize his grappling against Tony Ferguson. I think, in my opinion, that's how Shavkat wins, in my honest opinion. But Wonderboy does have a chance. If this is standing, I mean, this obviously favors Wonderboy, in my opinion. I think Wonderboy is still one of the best strikers in the UFC and probably the best striker in the division still. It's kind of crazy to say that he's still probably the best striker in the division. Even at the age, how old is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson? I believe he's like 43 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But man, he's an animal. I mean, listen, Wonderboy, even at this age, is still a top-tier fighter. And I got to give Wonderboy a lot of credit, even for taking this fight. Taking this fight, I mean, it's absolutely insane for Wonderboy. I don't even understand why he decided to do that. I believe because he knows that somebody like Shavkat is not going to miss weight. Because if you guys don't remember, Wonderboy was supposed to fight Michel Pereira, and he missed weight by like 3 pounds, and then the fight was off after that. Michel Pereira missed weight by like 4 pounds. I think it was like 174 pounds. And Wonderboy said, I'm not fighting you. I'm not doing this ever again because of what happened between him and Darren Till. I think he fought Darren Till, and Darren Till missed weight, and he fought him after that. And he says he regrets that decision. He says he's never going to make that mistake ever again. And this fight, I feel like he took it. He obviously, if Wonderboy somehow wins this fight, I mean, for sure, he is going to be elevated in the rankings and possibly just needs to fight one more time, and he probably gets another title shot at the end of his career. I think that's why he probably took the fight, and he knows a guy like Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to probably not miss weight. Shavkat is not that kind of person. I don't think that he has that mentality. Shavkat has the mentality of a fucking warrior. You know what I mean? I just feel like, bro, like I said, he missed his sister's wedding because he was training. How insane is that? He couldn't even take a day off, to see his sister get married. He is deciding to go and fight Wonderboy and take Wonderboy very seriously to the point that he's missing his sister's wedding. There's no way he doesn't win this fight. I do think that he does get a finish. I think he does. But I'm not entirely sure. I can definitely see a decision victory. But like I said, it's tough to finish somebody like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, you know, even though like he faced a guy like Belal Muhammad, and yes, he kind of got dominated by Belal Muhammad. He didn't get finished, but I think Shavkat is going to get the job done. I think he actually might get a finish. I think he's going to get a submission. Actually, I'm going to go with submission, probably in the later rounds, like the third round, kind of similar how he fought Jeff Neal. But it's not going to be a war like that. I don't think he's going to want to stand against somebody like a Wonderboy, because you know if you stand against Wonderboy, you're going to get caught. And I think he's going to utilize his grappling, his clinch game, and he's going to utilize all of that and his youth to win this fight. And I think he's going to get a submission in the third round. So I'm going to go with shavkat rakhmonov. The co-main event, Brandon Royval versus Alexandre Pantoja. I am picking Alexandre Pantoja. I think that Alexandre Pantoja right now is the best flyweight in the division. He is the best flyweight in the world. And right behind him is not Brandon Royval. It is Brandon Moreno. That is the wrong Brandon fighting Alexandre Pantoja right now. Not saying that Brandon Royval does not have a chance, but I just think that Pantoja is on a whole nother level right now. I think that right now we are going to see the peak of Alexandre Pantoja. I think that even though I'm not a big fan of Pantoja, I think he's pretty boring as a champion, I still believe that he is probably the best fighter in the division. I just think that he is on a whole nother level. And I think he's going to utilize his grappling against Brandon Royval. And I think it's going to be probably a unit. Actually, I think he might get a finish. I think Pantoja is going to get a finish probably in the later rounds, like the fourth or maybe even the final round. This fight might be underrated. I think flyweight fights are super entertaining, and Royval, obviously, he has pretty much nothing to lose in a way. I mean, obviously, he does have something to lose. He could. This is probably his only opportunity to become a champion. But I think he's going to go out there and he's going to try and put on a fantastic performance. I think this fight, there is opportunity for this fight to go back and forth, but I just think that Pantoja is just too good, and I think he's going to win, and I think he's going to win. And I think he's going to get a finish probably by KO, or he's going to get a finish by submission in the later rounds. I think that it's going to be Pantoja winning majority of those rounds, like probably 3 of the first 4 rounds, and then the 5th round he gets a finish. And that is all she wrote. And Pantoja is going to walk out as the 125, will still be the 125-pound champion. And I'm assuming in the future, if Moreno, I believe Moreno is going to be fighting again in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. If Moreno wins that fight, I think they probably do that fight middle of 2024, probably in the summer of 2024. They do the rematch between those two, because I still think, even though Pantoja just has one-upped Brandon Moreno, I think he's 3-0 against Brandon Moreno. I still think that it's a similar situation to me how it is between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya, that Brandon Moreno has the opportunity to beat a guy like Pantoja. I think he's that good to beat somebody like an Alexandre Pantoja. And I think that's what's going to happen. But I still think at the end of the day, Pantoja, it will be Royval and still be the champion. And the main event, I already talked this extensively. I'm going to put a link to the video. Colby Covington, Leon Edwards. I'm going to talk it briefly. I'm picking Leon Edwards. So that means I'm picking all of the favorites, the betting favorites, to win their fights at UFC 296. Everybody who's the favorite, that is who I'm picking. I understand. Are these safe picks? Absolutely. A lot of these fights, could it go the other way? Absolutely. I can see damn near all of these fights go the other way. I can see Colby Covington win. Royval, I'm less convinced, in my opinion. I do like Pantoja. I think Pantoja is really good. Wonderboy, that one I'm pretty confident that Shavkat is going to win. Paddy Pimblett, if he's just really ass, I can definitely see Tony actually figure out a way to win. And Vicente Luque, man, Ian Garry showed that he was a little chinny. He got caught one time by some no-name fighter. I don't even fucking remember the guy's name. And he got caught. And Vicente Luque has some power in his hands. some underrated power, and he can catch Ian Garry with a clean shot. But yeah, the main event, like I said, I think that Leon Edwards is going to win. I think Leon is just, his striking is just way much better than Colby Covington's. I don't know if you guys saw that clip. I'm actually gonna put it where I think Colby was like, he was throwing a punch, and it just looked awful. I know it was a training video, but he just looks terrible. Like, his striking does not feel, I feel like his striking has not gotten any better. It has not improved significantly since his last fight against Jorge Masvidal. And I don't think that his striking is not going to affect Leon Edwards whatsoever. It's the grappling. If he's able to take down Leon Edwards, then we have a whole different type of fight. And I can definitely see Colby Covington walk out as the champion at UFC 296. But we'll see what happens. I'm still picking Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards is going to be able to keep this standing. And I think he's going to be able to get the decision victory and pretty much win 48-47 or 40. I think 48-47 for Leon Edwards is my prediction. I don't know what I said in my video, so watch it. I have to go back and watch my video. But yeah, I said he was going to win by decision. I thought he was going to win by unanimous decision as well. But anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. That is all of the UFC 296 main card. If you like the video, subscribe if you're new. God bless y'all. See y'all soon with another video. Peace out.